Good morning. This is Bobby Dupre with the Bobby Dupre Show, presented to you each Thursday morning at 7 a.m. And of course, many of you are watching it on your cable services and different numbers throughout Acadiana. About 9 parishes, I think, is what we are covering on cable services and on the internet around the world. So no matter where you are, there's no reason why not watching the Bobby Dupre Show at 7 a.m. on Thursday morning for the first showing.
Good morning.
It's a brand new one. We tape it on Wednesday morning like we normally do. And beautiful weather we had the last couple of days. My sidekick, Matt LeBlanc here, back with me. And I think we have a picture of my old sidekick.
Yeah, you sure do.
He was standing next to... You gonna get it? Yeah.
It's kind of further down in the list there. I'm gonna pull it up. Let's see where we are.
Oh, he's not a salesman over there yet, but he's working with the I guess IT equipment and I guess bringing everything up to speed. A lot of changes have been made, and I think that's what he was brought in for. And
there we go.
He loves his job, and he's showing Vicky this car here, and it didn't take her long to take a picture of Andrew and the car. And of course, they're picking at me. She says she'd love to ride in that little red car. Well, I said, you'll have to wait a little while. But anyhow, Andrew sounds happy, and that's good. Happy for him, and just his friends, they all want to know when I see him, how's Andrew doing? He's doing well.
He's got his green on right there, so it must have been St. Patrick's Day when you took that picture, huh?
No, I don't think it was. No,
it was just in green regardless?
Yeah, yep. A couple of days ago they took that picture. But anyhow, many of you watch it on the internet, different devices, your cell phone if you're traveling, your iPad, all those internet type devices, you can watch the Bobby Dupre Show. And of course, we want to start off by taking care of a couple of our good sponsors. And I think you have Steamboat Warehouse.
I have Steamboat Warehouse right here. Let me pull up their graphic information. But go see Chef Jason Hugay over in Washington at the Steamboat Warehouse. It's an experience you will not regret or will not forget. Great menu items. You can get stuff like shrimp Betsy, Black Forest tenders. Those are just appetizers. Some of the house seafood specials. You know, the flounder Diane. I think that's isn't that your favorite down there?
That's one of them.
That's one of them. Yeah.
About anything is good.
Just an incredible menu and great prices too. Go see him, Steamboat Warehouse in Washington, and looks like he's got a new website up, and this thing is pretty impressive. I want you to go to steamboatwarehouse.com and look at his website. As soon as it comes up, there's a lot of video.
You're not able to show him that?
Well, I was going to do it, but you called me too quick. I didn't get it up just yet.
All right. Well, next week
we'll show him
next
week.
We'll
show him next week. But he's got some videos up there, and you can really see the place. Really nice website. Good work there, Jason. So go see him at Steamboat Warehouse. That's steamboatwarehouse.com. And let's talk about our good friends over at Piggly Wiggly in Opelousas and Simsport. We've got 2 locations in Opelousas and 1 in Simsport. And, you know, it's a grocery store, but incredible prices. I went yesterday and got a whole bunch of chicken leg quarters to throw on the barbecue pit at home, and they were wonderful. And right now they are on sale. You can get a 10-pound bag of leg quarters for $4.99.
Not bad.
That's incredible.
And there's a lot of meat on that.
That's a lot of meat.
There's
it's
a lot of meat on that.
Chicken. Prairie Fresh boneless pork chops, $1.99 a pound. Catfish nuggets, $8.99, and you know you need those on Fridays right now. So
the Lenten season, the seafood is going good, and I find that most restaurants are holding specials on Fridays now.
Yep.
To accommodate the Catholic and other religions also use the Lenten season and the Lent.
Absolutely. So one more thing right here. Here's a great one right here. Boneless chuck steaks. If you haven't grilled chuck steaks are great on the grill. $3.99 a pound. That's a great alternative to ribeyes. So go see them at Piggly Wiggly. 2 locations, Opelousas, 1 in Simsport. Website is gotothepig.com. You can see all their specials on it.
Okay, Golden Gloves. The Golden Gloves is right around the corner. It's not this weekend, but the next weekend, March 27, 28, and 29th at Hotel Acadiana in Lafayette, Louisiana. And these winners, the winners of these matches that's going to take place next weekend, they'll move on and ultimately end up fighting for the National Golden Glove Championships. And I remember years ago we had a team from Lafayette that won the most matches, and we won the National Golden Glove tournament. Went after that, we made one more national tournament, and that was the Sugar Ray Leonard tournament, and our Lafayette team won that one too. So a lot of history in the back of Golden Gloves, and we can certainly recommend that you get the matches. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday event. And we'll remind you one more time next week. What's some of our first pictures we've got coming up today?
Well, we've got a couple here from, I don't know, you must have been at home when you took this one. That looks kind of weird right there. We got us in the back and,
that was watching, that was watching the program last Thursday morning at
your
home.
House on your, that's not the TV with the line in it, huh?
Yeah, it is.
I see the line.
Samsung, y'all need to get in touch with me. Y'all gonna call me, never call me.
Maybe they're watching right now, huh?
Yep, I got that on my rewards. This picture here was taken at the Lifetime Achievement Award Banquet, which was held last Thursday, March the 12th. On the right is Opelousas Chief of Police, newly elected, D.T. Thompson, Donald Thompson, but he goes by D.T. And of course, our old regular, Freddie Herpin with Daily World Photography. He was buzzing all over the place, and he stopped long enough for me to get a picture.
Always good to see Freddie.
Yep. And this young man here, the tall one, well, I guess that would be the one on the left, is Alex Touchette. I think I'm right when I say that. He's either on the left or the one in the black shirt. But
I'm having a hard time seeing right here. I think Alex is in the black shirt, because I think all the way on the left is either Kobe or Cody.
All right, I think you're right. I think I can see it. Oh, the picture down here looks a little bit clearer.
There you go.
Okay, and I picked at him. I said, last year you wore a cowboy hat. Where's your hat? He said, Mr. Barber, you remember that? I said, well, it reminded me of you. You're a cowboy. Y'all sing that good country music and play any kind of music, really. Fine little. His grandpa was the late Eddie Touchette, and of course his uncle is Michael Touchette, who now lives over in the Atlanta, Georgia area. Good band. Keep up the good work, young boys. This is their third annual event that they provide the music.
And that's my good buddy Keith there all the way on the right.
Okay, very good.
And we've got some pictures from the St. Landry Democrats.
That's the Democratic, is that the Democratic or is that the Lifetime Achievement?
No, that's St. Landry Democrats. So
okay, all right, okay.
Got a sign up behind them. So you got a couple of speakers up there.
Yeah, okay, and it's also the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh, it's the same thing?
Yeah,
okay.
the last picture you had before this one was Earl Taylor, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that Earl? Kind of.
It's hard to tell. He's
far
far
back. Yeah, I took these pictures from far back. I know
Earl's sitting all the way to the right.
Right.
Over there.
Okay. Yeah. Anyhow, there was 4 awards made. They were real nice, and we congratulate everybody. It was a beautiful evening. It was a packed house like it was last year. There's 2 years in a row that I've been able to attend, and we thoroughly enjoyed the event.
So yeah, that looks like Randy Wagley, but I don't know if that's him or not.
No,
it's hard to tell from far back.
Well, I'm not going to guess.
It's hard to make a guess, yeah. Just far back. You got a couple more pictures here.
Okay.
Some Palace Cafe there.
Palace Cafe. The Palace Cafe sign has been worked on.
Looks great.
And it came out beautiful. They did a great job. And in the picture there are the employees and Mr. John, the manager of it. And there was a nice article in Tuesday's Daily World on the front page. It's one of the recommended restaurants to visit in the
good.
South. And real good plug for them, and we're trying to do what we can to help also. Mr. Monroe is the owner, and he was, you know, interviewed, and a real positive article. And we need to keep our downtown. Last week I said that. I'm pleading with you again this week. And while you're there, you can look at the beautiful grounds at our beautiful courthouse building. It's really one of the nicer ones in the state of Louisiana. And right next to the palace, of course, is the famous Jim Bowie Oak. You want to take a picture of that. I wanted to get a picture to show you at the same time, but I didn't. I'll come back next week, hopefully.
Well, you have an article about some oak trees.
Well, yeah, but we're going to show that next week. That's next week. No, that's the Dubisson. We refer to it as the Dubisson home.
Okay.
Of course, it's not owned by the Dubisson family any longer.
Gotcha.
But I still refer to it as that. And it's not, the oaks are historic. The house was built in 1900, maybe, but before 1910. So it's not an antebellum home per se, but it has all of the appearances of it.
That's a beautiful home.
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful.
Dwayne Hogruder bought that home and thoroughly remodeled it in its entirety. And now is a young female doctor practicing in Opelousas that owns it. And she's also the one that's remodeling the home that was formerly the governor's house on Liberty Street, Liberty and Growley Street.
Well, good.
And I don't know her name, and I need to get her name. That's not right, Bobby. You speak in positive, but
you can't find your matchbooks anymore.
No, there's no more matchbooks. That's correct. Let's see what. Let me get.
Well, we could probably go ahead and take a break right here and get situated and come back.
Just right, just right. We'll take a 1 minute break. 1 minute. Welcome back to the second quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show, along with my sidekick, Mr. Matt LeBlanc. And we'll take care of a couple of our good sponsors who we certainly want to remind you anytime that you can support them in any kind of way. We'd ask that you do so, please. Keep this program free.
Sure, I'm trying to pull stuff up right here. Quarters Casino. Let's talk about Quarters Casino. I-49 North, exit 23. Go see them at Quarters Casino. Great Chevron fuel there. A lot of slot machines. You can try your luck while you're there. Hunt Brothers Pizza, El Pico de Gallo Mexican restaurant, authentic Mexican food. They've got a Subway there. Absolutely, it is absolutely delicious. They've got a Subway there.
Three people working in the back of the counter to move the crowds. I mean, they pile up at noon. They do tremendous business. Like you always said, that good Chevron fuel. Yep. Very well lit at night too. Very secure. So go see them. And their website, if you want to check them out, is quarterscasino.com. Let's also talk about St. Landry Homestead. Our good friends over there at St. Landry Homestead, all your banking needs, personal banking, business banking, e-banking, which is something that I don't think you're doing yet, but everybody, everybody like me, my age, I like my e-banking. I like a paper trail. Well, you can do that too with St. Landry Homestead. You can go in, you can sit down with them and do it that way, or you can do it the new way. They can fit your needs however you need to do it. Oh, I do business with them. Absolutely, absolutely. I always have myself. They've got locations in Opelousas, Eunice, Port Barry. Of course, I remember FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Visit them online at stlandryhomestead.com. Let's get a couple of our death notices, please. We'll talk about the tragic accident that happened to the military troops off the coast of Florida about, I guess, 10 days ago. Two helicopters left out to do some night training. One turned back. Apparently, they were having weather problems. One turned back and, of course, landed safely. The other didn't have the good fortune, and I think it's, what, 11 7 or 11.
7?
No, more than 7, I think.
Was it?
Yeah. Anyhow, a number of troops. One in particular I'm going to speak about, and we have a picture of him that we took off the newspaper article. Vet's dad recalls son killed in crash, and I'm speaking of George Griffin Jr. His father, Mr. George, resides in the Lafayette area, and this young man, while they show him from Delhi, Louisiana, he probably living there now with his family, was living there, and his father was interviewed, and he said that from very young age, his son spoke about being a military person, and in fact enrolled at UL in Lafayette for a little short while, and he went to his dad and he says, "Dad, it's not really what I want to do. I'd like instead going into the military," and that's what he did. He participated in Iraq, 2 stints in Iraq. He worked the hurricanes Katrina, Rita, Isaac, and he was in the National Guard, but full-time National Guard. And he also helped out in the Deepwater Horizon, the oil spill in the Gulf.
Right.
In other words, any time that he could get where the action was, that's where he was. And of course, he leaves behind a wife and 4 young children. So I'm sure they'll be having some fundraisers to set up some funds to make sure that these youngsters get a proper education, because he dedicated his life from a young person. While he was in high school, he was taking military trainings. So I mean, that's the one thing he cherished, was that. And he happened to be also the pilot on this helicopter, Black Hawk, that went down. So our deepest sympathies, and if you'll remind me, we'll try to find out if they're having a fundraiser. We'll talk about it, and I want to donate a little check to the cause. Sure. And Mr. James C. Beardo passed away. He was age 87. He was a Second World War veteran, and of course spent over 30 years in St. Leonard Parish education system, and of course for many of those years he was a school principal and a member of the Knights of Peter Claver in his church parish. And he's survived by 2 daughters and other nephews and nieces. And I knew Mr. James myself. He lived in the Freelow Cove area, and of course our home place where Mom and Daddy, and I just stayed there 8 years. But our property on the road, the main road, was directly across from where you enter into Freelow Cove. I mention that whenever I can, because that's where I'm from, and those are my people. And another person who passed away was Dr. William Augustus Marmad Sr., Marmad. And when I saw the name, I immediately thought of a classmate of ours, Marlene Murray, who had married Dr. Billy Marmad, and out of Houma, Louisiana. And I was in Florida at a insurance convention, and learned that Marlene and her daughter, returning from, her daughter had just graduated, and it could have been a college graduation, I think it was, and they had a camp down at Grand Island, and were coming on that narrow road, Highway 1, I think is the road number, and someone crossed the lane and hit them head on and killed both of them, Marlene and her daughter. And I left the convention I was attending and went over and visited with the family, and shook up. If I'm not mistaken, Marlene was our class valedictorian of our 1955 Opelousas High School senior. I was not in that high-ranking number. I'm not repeating it because I wasn't second in the class. I was maybe well, I can't say I was first to get in the lunch because I never did eat at school. I always ate at the house. That teachers would let me leave and go help Mom and Dad in the school cafe. and so I never got a chance to eat the lunches at school. But
I had a friend that
until
always,
I got to college, then for $220 about a semester, it would pay for my registration, it would pay for my room, and it would pay for 3 meals a day during the week. So a dollar went real forward. Didn't make many dollars, but
Yeah.
they were the big dollars.
Right, right.
Our deepest sympathies to the Momard family and, of course, the Murray family, who feel her brother still lives in the Opelousas area.
Sure.
Okay, I read, let's get a few pictures
Sure.
here. Do we have?
Sure, yeah, let me pull those up right here. And what you looking at right there?
Last Saturday, I made my little visit like I try to do periodically over to Evangeline Downs Hotel here in Opelousas. And on the left here is Miss Tony, and on the right is her friend Miss Deanna. And they live right there in New Iberia, but they love to visit the casino. They come there for the food, the fun, and they love staying at the Evangeline Downs Hotel. So naturally, since I'm a very small investor, but I'm pulling for the home team, if you
Sure.
want to call it that, because it helps both the casino and the hotel when people come to Opelousas and use the facilities there. And they love the breakfast that they serve. They love the hotel service, I mean the meal service, restaurant service in the casino. And of course, they love the big, beautiful beds that are in the hotel. Everybody, that's one comment you get from practically every lady that
Sure.
goes there. So nice meeting with you all from New Iberia. Good morning to you all. Enjoyed y'all's visit and speaking with you. And I don't know who this is, but this was a funeral taking place. They were leaving the Williams Funeral Home. They were getting on to Landry across from Tommy's, now it's Chevron, Tommy's Chevron. And I hurried up and just took this picture, and I didn't find out who the dead person was, but they were doing it first class.
It sure is.
Yes,
It
sir.
Sure is.
And this is a friend that I met while watching the horses work out last Saturday at Evangeline Downs for the sale that was held Monday. They timed these 2-year-olds if they want to be timed. And this person and I sat next to each other while they were working the horses out, and he's Jerry Nolan. He's a trainer. He's from Texas, but he's now living, I think, full-time in the Karen Crow area. And he has some horses, I think, for himself and a few others for others. And just then I saw him at the sale, of course. This picture was actually taken at the sale. I had left my phone home Saturday, and boy, that was a funny feeling. As soon as they worked out the last horse, I got in my car and went home to make sure my phone was at home.
That's I couldn't live without it.
No, and this is at the sale. This is Terry Gabriel, a person that I've known for many, many years. He out of the Folsom area. He's a trainer, and he's a pin hooker. Pin hooking in the horse industry is a person who buys a horse, maybe a yearling, and then works it out, gets it prepared for the next sale. And a lot of times they buy these horses and they have someone in mind that is looking for a horse. They get known in the industry, and of course Terry has been in this business for a long, long time. The person that I knew locally that did a lot of pin hooking years ago, and I haven't seen him. Good morning to you, Bud Thibodeau. I met him at a sale in Kentucky, a horse sale in Kentucky, and he brought me to some of the most beautiful, you always hear about the breeding farms in Kentucky. Well, he took me, they're more lavish than anyone's home around here.
No, I've seen them.
They're beautiful.
Absolutely
rolling
beautiful.
hills, and Bud did a great job. In fact, I ended up buying a mare, and we had a few horses and a couple of winners out of them. I had sold them, of course, but anyhow, Terry, good morning to you, Mr. Bud Thibodeau, and your wife, good morning to you all, and let's get back in touch quick. You were a pinhooker yourself, and well known in Kentucky. They knew him at every farm that we visited. They knew him on a first name basis. So, this is one of the persons, of course, in charge of the sale. They manage the sale for Evangeline Downs, and this is Don Stemmons, and people assisting him, and Don Hogruder with Courtesy Motors.
Yeah.
And we like to say he's from Opelousas, and I got a little story about him, but I won't tell it today, but it's a good little story. Good little story. And this is Ben Doucette. Ben and his siblings and Mama and Daddy, Miss Judy, lived in a house that Adelaide and I had on Liberty Street, a rent house. And he remembers me, and I kind of remember his little face. And they were about 3, maybe 4 children there. And of course his father died, but Miss Judy's doing fine, he said. I said, tell her hello. And on the left is Charlotte Stemmons Clavier. She's the workhorse in this group here. She put this whole sales book together and had it printed in Opelousas. And one of her assistants right here. And this is after the sale on the backside of Evangeline Downs in the training in the barn area, and that's Mr. Val Merle, and he is from he owns the Clear Creek Stud in Folsom, and of course when I went to his farm with Bobby Duhan to breed a mare. We also saw Terry Gabriel there. So they all a big, Folsom has a lot of beautiful ranches. They keep getting bigger and more beautiful. They're competing with Kentucky.
Really?
And Mr. Val is just a fine fella. And that picture is of Buddy. Buddy said he met me a few years ago when he was training quarter horses and racing them at Evangeline Downs. He had his camper at Willie's Campground in Washington. He said, we had a few beers together. I said, well, if you say I had a few beers, it's more than 3 years ago. No, he said, it's 5 or 6 years ago. I said, okay, because I haven't had a beer in quite a while. But Buddy now lives in the Vinton area and has a farm there, and he trains both quarter horses and thoroughbreds now, so he's able to basically stay there year-round and race at Vinton most of the year.
Oh, good.
So enjoyed the visit, Buddy.
And there's your last picture up here of the horse sale.
Yes, and that horse right there is the one I bought.
Nice.
And I think I've got a name for it, but I'm not going to say it yet. The grandmother of this horse was Megan something. So you know I'm going to have, I named one Meg's Little Girl, and I'm suggesting, I'm just soon let it out, cat out the bag.
Yeah.
I suggested to Megan that we name this one Meg's Big Boy.
I like it. I like it.
So anyhow, and Meg's Little Girl, by the way, is still racing, probably 6, 7 years old. I bought that horse at the Ike Hamilton sale in Monroe, and then we dressed it up, and I was like a pinhooker. We sold it at Evangeline Downs for $10,000 to Mr. Gerald Levistat, and I think his trainer, I think that's Mr. Bankston is his trainer, is now training, and if I'm saying the right name, that's Colby Hernandez's father-in-law. Boy,
okay.
I hope I'm not getting it mixed up. With time up?
Well, time's been up for a little while.
Okay, well, you should have been hitting me like
that's
Andrew.
all right. We had some pictures to go through.
Okay, good. We're going to take a little break. Welcome back to the third quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show, along with my sidekick, Mr. Matt LeBlanc. And we certainly, I want to apologize. The first segment of the program was really rough. I mean, you'd swear somebody was pounding at me or threatening to hit me or something. I probably have too much material.
That's just, it's hard to boil it all down into an hour show.
Into an hour show. I apologize for that. We spoke about it in between ourselves. I said, we're doing this, just, I don't know, I enjoy it. and I want to do it well, and I apologize when I don't, and that was a bad segment. Second segment was pretty smooth.
That was better.
It was better. Well, let's get on to the third quarter right here. Let's take care of our good sponsors. Next up.
Let's talk about Torgill Butcher and Seasoning Supplies. Butcher Supplies, I'm sorry, cutlery and kitchen supplies. You get spices, casings, containers, cutlery, paper products, tape products. They got everything you need for any kind of kitchen butcher supply. Also, the blend of seasonings. You can have your own seasonings blended there. They'll provide all of the recipes for you. They'll walk you through the whole process, be it if you have a seasoning you want to get to market, or if it's a seasoning you want to do for presents. Or
a lot of the restaurants make their own, and if you look at that little container, it'll generally say manufactured Torgill.
And I see a lot of businesses, local businesses, will have their own seasoning that they give out during Christmas or at special company events. So see them at Torgill. You can check them out online at torgill.com. Also, let's talk about Carl's Thrifty Way and Gift Shop. And Carl's, of course, is not just a pharmacy. You can get all your pharmaceutical needs there, but they also have a gift shop there that really has some really nice things in it. And as a matter of fact, I'll show you a couple of pictures right here of some items they've got in their store. There we go. We've got, these are just a few of the things in the gift shop. And you can see clothes, they've got watches, they've got jewelry, purses. Oh, look at that. That's really nice stuff.
Everything is first class.
Look at that
reasonably
jewelry.
priced also.
Very, very, very reasonably priced, and it's absolutely wonderful product. So go see them over at Carl's Thrifty Way and Gift Shop on South Union in Opelousas.
Okay, let's get into some more of our pictures.
Sure.
We had a gentleman that came in from, well, he's New York, but speaking French fluently. And he was advised that if he came to the Opelousas area, he could find people that spoke French. What a compliment to the community.
Yeah.
And just recently, Dominic Cross, one of the writers for the Daily Advertiser, ran an article that officials are pushing French as an economic driver. And here it is. We experienced it yesterday. This gentleman, you want to show his picture right here?
Sure. Is he with Bob here?
He's with Bob Carrier.
Okay.
And his name is Francois.
Nope, that's the wrong one there. Hold on. Not too many buttons sometimes. There we go, right there.
Yes, that's it right there. He's on the right in this picture here. Bob Carrier is on the left. CC Chemical, and Mr. Francois Deschamps, and he's a professor with the New York University at New Paltz, New York. Very, I mean, talk about a nice guy. You'd swear he was raised right here in Cajun country because he fits in the bill. He took pictures. You want to show a picture of myself?
Sure.
And Miss Ladrika.
Oh, he took that picture?
He took the picture and developed it. Now, he carries his own developing equipment and took the picture and developed it.
And he took a picture of you,
and
too?
then he took a picture of me by myself.
There you go.
And he stayed. When I left, he was still taking pictures with the employees and Mr. John at the Palace Cafe. Went outside, took pictures outside. Just a wonderful guy. I mean, I apologize to him that I didn't spend more time, but I was trying to make sure that Ladrika was introduced to the people she didn't know. She knew most of them there at breakfast time at the Palace in the morning. And anyhow, I am politicking for the state representative. I just soon come out and say why I was there. Well, I mean, I could have just been having a cup of coffee and breakfast, but I've decided that she, with her experience and her background in government now, she would do the 24th District of the Senate. She's stepping up. She's presently a state representative from the Opelousas area, and She'll be moving into the 24th. Senator Albert Lee Gilroy has chosen not to run for that, so it's an open seat that she's going to be looking, and it takes in a Port of Lafayette and a small portion of the, I guess that would be the western side, western end along I-10 of St. Martin Parish, Breaux Bridge. So getting back to Mr. Francois, you're a wonderful person. You developed, he had his own little device to develop these, and I didn't see what it was. I should have paid attention there, but I was politicking, and I apologize, but I could call him and he could explain to you and I what and how it operates, but he operated.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Very neat,
that's pretty
very neat. What about the big picture? One of the last ones that I took.
What's in it?
It's a framed picture.
Is this it here? The meeting
No,
of the old
well,
regulars?
no, we'll take that one.
Okay.
Right now, that's the meeting of the old regulars. The old regulars is coming up in May. I'll give you the date on that in a few. This picture here was a picture that I purchased from the Bon Nouvelle, Bobby Dardo's firm there. The Bon Nouvelle is an issue that you could subscribe to. You get 12 issues of the Bon Nouvelle and 3 of the Wagon Tracks, and mailed to you for only $20 a year. It's a bargain. And
I visited their operations.
It's really a neat, well-written articles, well-researched, and a lot of good pictures. Kind of like we make stories out of the pictures here. That's what he does with his, and that's Judge Saunders is the person, and that's the picture
that's the one
right
you're
here.
Talking about,
this is the picture I'm speaking about. This picture here was given to me from the group of guys over that we all belong to the Winfield deer hunting camp, we refer to it. And this supper was held at Pajo Powers' house, and during the supper, they presented me with this beautiful, heavy wood frame, all handmade, and the picture was taken a couple of years ago of one of these guys that stands up, all painted up and doesn't move. He stays in that same...
Yeah, the street performers.
Street performers. Bach Powers, Jimmy Prados, not Powers.
Bach Prados.
Prados. We were at Pajo Powers' house. And by the way, Pajo is looking a whole lot better. He had open heart surgery, and he'll be okay and around. He's up and around already, but he'll be up to full speed in a couple more months. He'll forget that he ever had it and be happy that he was able to get there in time. You know how that goes.
Yeah, sure.
But again, to the group, thank y'all so much. And there was one little message that was sent to me, and Sam Cipriana's wife, Miss Pat, said, be sure to tell Bobby she likes the idea of the pictures with the obituaries. And that's something that you
and it's easy enough to do. We just take a quick snapshot of it.
Then people wondering who it is. There's so many names that are there's Bobby Dupre. Now I don't know if there's a Bobby Dupre that's been sick lately, but I had major sicknesses over the weekend. I passed out at Evangeline Downs at the casino and had to be rushed to the hospital. 3 weeks ago, Ram Spira heard that I had died. When he finally reached me, he was actually in tears. I mean, that's how close we are. I don't know if the only other Bobby that I know of well is Big Bobby in Ville Platte, and I haven't heard anything about him being sick, but I'm fine. At least I think I'm fine. I just went through some examinations. My heart, my carotid arteries, everything is excellent. So anyhow, I'm healthy.
I think you can outlast all of us.
Well, I don't know about that, but again, Pat, thanks a lot, and the supper was delicious, and the trimmings that people brought were just super. It was a beautiful evening. It was one of these rainy, cold nights last Wednesday night, and made for a good supper. Meatballs and spaghetti, Italiano style. 7 miles plus yard sale. That's going to be March 21st.
Again already?
This Saturday already. 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then they also have the yard sale, March the 21st, from 7 a.m. to 4, and that's in Sunset Grancato area. So 2 sales that work hand in hand.
And it's on the same route.
Same route, that is correct. So again, that has been a real
It sure has.
fun event, and if you're looking for something to do that's fun, go by and you'll enjoy just visiting with friends and make new friends. And talking about friends, I made friends over at Mount Carmel Elementary School in Abbeville a couple of years ago. Well, no, last year they invited me over and showed me all of the facilities. I make a contribution every year to the school, and they wanted me to see it. Some of them watched the program, so they and which I did. No, I don't think. I think Andrew was still on the program at that time. But they send me the Spirit, they call it, is that newsletter. That's correct. And there's a real good story about a jacket, a letter jacket. You know, when you letter in a sport. And the letter jacket, this young man was going to a LSU football game, and he and his friend, and he saw a car was broke down on the side of the road, and he asked his friend to stop. He stopped. And the man was cold and car wouldn't run, so he took his jacket off of him, gave it to this older gentleman, and they split ways. And years later, 20-something years later, his jacket ends up being found.
Wow.
And it had a very similar, and around the Lake Charles area, the old man still had that probably same old car a few years later, and he broke down on the side of the road, and they gave him a ride into Lake Charles, and he forgot the jacket in their car, and they were moving, this young man was moving over to Texas, and years later, just recently, his daddy was helping him, and they found this jacket in deal. And he says, I didn't know you had lettered over there at school back in those days. He says, no. So they look inside and they got the initials of the owner. Well, the name actually,
not LeBlanc.
Charlie Duhon, class of '74, is the one who found it, and the first young man was B. LeBlanc, was stitched
Byron LeBlanc.
Byron LeBlanc. Well, it was just B. So when he realized that that wasn't his jacket, he got in touch with the school, and they ran it down and had a little hard time finding it, but they found it and put the jacket back with the original. It's a good little article. I'm going through it real fast, but it was very, very interesting of how a jacket was misplaced for all those years, and now it's back with the rightful. And the story, the real punchline is that it was given when this man, it was cold weather, he took the jacket off of himself and gave it to this old man, and then they gave, years later, this same old man was given a ride from a boy from Abbeville, left it in the vehicle, his daddy puts it in a box, and they stored it in the attic all that time. And then when they moving back to Louisiana, they found the jacket.
Great story.
Great story. Great story.
Well, we're going to have to take a quick break right here and come back for the fourth quarter in just a minute. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the fourth and the last quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show. And I went kind of long on that story, but that's a neat story. That's a neat story.
It really is.
And I hope that y'all understand it. Mr. Francois, I hope you're enjoying the program. We don't speak French. Je parle pas français sur le show, mais moi, toi, je peux parler sur téléphone un jour. Je vais t'appeler. Toi, tu as mon numéro. Toi, tu peux appeler moi et on va parler un petit peu de français et anglais.
I agree with you 100%.
And you didn't understand what I said, but you,
not a word of it.
But you had an inkling of what I was trying to say. And of course, Mr. Dominic Cross got some advertisement for his article that was well written, and I a very nice guy. I met him at one of the music event that takes place in Opelousas. We put on at Courthouse Square. It happened to be at the Courthouse Square, and one of the Cheniers were playing. By the way, there's a movie that's just been found. Way back in '78, a film was made and was never finished, I guess, the production of it. And it was viewed a couple of days ago in Lafayette, and it's going to be available, I'm sure,
on Clifton Chenier.
On Clifton Chenier. And
the lost tapes.
And even some songs that he had never taped and put it on that were found in this videotape.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
And the 11th,
sure, no problem.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, we want to just give a quick shout out right here to the Louisiana Healthcare Group, or the LHC Group, and I'll put up their information right here.
We have a picture. They have a large office in Ville Platte for the home health service, and they have there's the picture right there. And of course that advertisement was in the Bon Nouvelle, Bobby Dardo's paper, and a very nice article, and it tells a little history of the services that they offer. And of course they offer these in approximately 30 states now. So LHC Group is a professional. They're on the stock market. I mean, the P's and Q's have to be, everything has to be just right, or else you can't be on the stock market. I mean, you fall out of that in a hurry. And that stock has done real well in the last year, when a lot of stocks are kind of hovering around the low numbers for their particular company. Theirs has gone up in value.
There you go. Now let's also talk about Dixie Storage. Dixie Storage, this is a picture of their website right here, and you can see that they've got a family of companies. They've got warehousing, logistics services, trucking, properties, residential, signs, A-plus glass. Mr. Randolph McCormick put together, what would you call that, a conglomeration of companies.
Firms.
But Dixie Storage, I guess, would be the the one that we're going to talk about as far as for residential storage or commercial storage. Whatever kind of storage you need, you go see them over at Dixie Storage. They've got locations in
main office is in Port Barry.
There you go.
Right at the red light on the right.
And I saw their office in Washington. On the main entrance into Washington.
Right,
on Sunday,
highway.
I took a motorcycle ride and saw their office there. So definitely go see them at Dixie Storage for all of your storage needs. And let me get us back up here. There we go.
Okay, and the 11th annual Earl Taylor golf tournament.
That's coming up
Earl
again
Taylor
too?
Classic, Thursday, April 9th. That's just about 3 weeks from now, being held at Indian Hills Country Club, like all of them are being held. And those of you that play golf, if you possibly can, Earl has 2 units that he uses these funds for, so you'd be helping him help other people, and at the same time you'll be having a good time, because there's a lot of delicious food that's served all day. You've got good ambiance of the drinks.
Ambiance.
And you're going to get a picture taken with Mr. Taylor if you so choose, and most of us, I think, do. It's $100 a person, and it's $400 a team. And the format is a 4-person scramble. Tee times are at 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. So
I've been to that golf tournament. It's very nice.
Very nice.
Very well done.
We'll come back on that next week. The brewery hosts free music on Saturdays. And of course, we're talking about the Bayou Teche Brewing, which is Highway 31.
That's my road.
And they perform from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays. And last week was Forrest Huval. This week is going to be on March the 21st is going to be Sakale. And on the 28th is going to be Jimmy Bro Trio. And since 2009, Carlos, Byron, and Dorsey Knott have operated Bayou Teche as an award-winning brewery, and continuing to grow. I mean, they are really growing quick.
As I see them.
And the food truck is on site from noon to 5 p.m. every Saturday. So you don't have to worry about eating anything. When you get there, you can get something that's good and hot right served to you right
There
on
you
the
go.
site.
You got a couple more pictures here. Do you want to show
Okay,
these?
oh, I sure do.
Okay, well, let's pull this up.
Oh, we have Jim and Babs Lopez, and they're in Baton Rouge, and they're attending a St. Patrick's Day parade. Jim practiced law with a firm there when he first got out of college, and he's remained friends with those group of attorneys that make up that firm, and they go down for Mardi Gras. No, they go down for the Spanish Town Festival parade, and then they go down for this St. Patrick's Day, and that took place last. Oh, I mean, it's a.
I thought those were Mardi Gras pictures.
Yep. They have a lot of fun, and of course Jim and Babs, they don't know anything but positive, good time funds, and very, very good friends, and we have some horses together.
One picture here is a little small. I'm not sure.
This is Lee Young and Troy standing up, his son Troy.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm not sure where this was sent to me by Vicky, and could have been maybe Ted Bellard or someone took that picture. I'm not sure who took it.
Yeah,
but
it was texted to you, it looks like.
Yeah, they texted to me, and that was Vicky. Got it off of Facebook. And she's enjoying her Facebook.
She sends you a lot of pictures.
Oh yeah, and we know exactly. That Vicky took that picture there in my backyard. Spring is coming.
Spring is here.
Yep, and this picture here is what we spoke about, the group that beats the old regulars in Ville Platte, and I mentioned that John Saunders is the person who hosts this event each year. Well, that's John Saunders sitting down, and he's an appellate court judge representing the large area of Acadiana. And standing on the left is Judge John Larry Vidrine. Next to him is newly elected Chuck West, district judge in Evangeline Parish. And the second from the right standing is Judge Gary Ortigo, brand new judge. I showed him at a function that I attended recently. And then all the way on the right is a newly elected judge, and that's Larry Vidrine's son, Gregory Vidrine, who was recently elected city judge in Ville Platte. So thanks for the pictures, very good. And I happen to know all of them. I met Chuck West some times ago, and he was recently elected also.
And I think we've got one more picture left right here, and that is...
That is a picture that was taken years ago. On the left standing is Glenn Pete, and on the right is Bobby Dupre. Now, I didn't kill all those geese. I want you to know that. Somebody loaned them to me to take the picture.
You shot that with your camera.
Well, I actually had a shotgun there with me, if I remember right. I rode there. I can't think of his first name, Vincent. He was with the Allen and Gooch firm. Now he's with another firm, maybe his own firm now. But Allen and Gooch firm hosted this event, and I got invited, and I want to thank them again. We had a blast. That was in South Texas.
All right. Well, that pretty much covers your pictures.
And I have a little story real quick. Wood ducks, I have my little houses. I opened up the cage to see if there was any activity, and a wood duck flew out of it.
All right.
Jack is my witness. He's son-in-law to Leslie and Mad Schiff, married to Stephanie, and he fishes my pond just regularly, and that's good because he keeps an eye on the place for me.
Sure.
And so wood ducks, I was taking wood duck hunting one time, and that was with Glenn Pete, who was in this last picture. And Glenn took me near Palmetto, and we got into a wooded area, and there was probably about 12, 14 inches of water we were walking in, and all of a sudden those beautiful wood ducks flew out in front of me, and I still have the picture in my mind. I didn't have a camera or anything, and I didn't shoot, but it was a beautiful sight. Glenn, thanks again for being my friend and having brought me to my one duck hunt that I continue to remember. Woo, that's,
Take a look at the time.
oh, the time, we already running out of time.
Yep.
Hope you enjoyed the program. I apologize for that first little area was kind of rough, but y'all maybe didn't even notice it, but we noticed it here. It was a combination. I'm gonna blame it on Matt. A part of it was his and part of it was mine, but overall, hopefully we did an entertaining job. And we close the program each week asking you to please consider attending the church of your choice. And then I try to close with a prayer. We all need to improve, to change for the better. Lent helps us fight against our faults. Ours is not a joy that comes from having many possessions, but it comes from having encountered a person, Jesus. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for watching. Tell a friend. Thank you, Matt.